The Big 12 is ponying up some major, major money once again to have a seat at the big boy table in college athletics. And this is one that I think could force the entire conference to level up. This could take the entire conference and force it to step up its game. And did it create another candidate to be the school that absolutely runs this league moving forward? Let's discuss here, okay? Because don't look now, but as much as the Big 12 is maligned and people think of Big 12 schools as not being schools with super deep pockets and rich in tradition and money, athletic departments, blah, blah, blah. You look at what's happening in the league right now. I mean, Cody Campbell not only has a real seat at the table when it comes to the future of college athletics because of his position with the president, but he is also bankrolling a number one portal class for Texas Tech. He helped keep James Blanchard around away from Notre Dame, right? Tech's pockets were deep enough to keep one of the architects of what has been happening there away from Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame, which certainly says something. They have built some of the most state-of-the-art facilities in the country. And they've already got 5-star commits lined up in the future. So Texas Tech is doing a lot right now by stepping up with money at a time when, like it or not, that's what it takes in college athletics. If you want to look around the rest of the Big 12, we know about BYU, the commitment that BYU has made. I mean, it was a multi-million-dollar price tag to get A.J. DeBonsta signed up to play at BYU, number one recruit in the country. He is going to. They went out and landed Ryder Lyons, 5-star quarterback there. It didn't work out the way you'd want it to, but K-State gave Jerome Tang top 5 to top 10 NIL money in basketball to step up and try and go put a roster together. Like, you have schools in the Big 12 that are stepping up here in this era where the currency is quite literally currency. And now you can add Kansas to that list, man. Kansas gets one of the biggest individual donations, at least according to Kansas, but I mean, I was looking around a little bit today and found the T. Boone Pickens donation back in 2005. I saw that got mentioned in the chat earlier. He donated $165 million to Oklahoma State in 2005, which was at the time believed to be the greatest individual gift to an athletic department in NCAA history. I mean, I realize we're 20 years past that, but $300 million, that puts in perspective what Kansas got here. They get $300 million from David Booth. Another good way, I think, to contextualize the money that Kansas just got is that $300 million is more than what Memphis was offering to join the Big 12. And we all kind of gawked at that number, right? Like, whoa, they're offering anywhere from $150 to $250 million to try and come into this league, depending on where you were looking. Any of that, less than 300 mil there coming from one donor going to one school. So this is not getting just a couple extra $1 million per year. A little bit different than that for Kansas. Now, David Booth has already donated money to Kansas. His name is on the stadium after all. They call it the Booth, David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium. He gave them $50 million in 2017. I know that is not the only time he's given them money, but that's the other real big gift. He's a guy worth $2.9 billion, an investor. He founded Dimensional Fund Advisors. And I'm going to talk more about this later. I think a part of some of the tentacles of the story is like, look, he's obviously a guy with a ton of money, but that is not unprecedented. I mean, we know about Cody Campbell, and I know Tech fans, you guys have told me there are other billionaires in this Texas Tech collective, right? But even, like, I'm a K-State fan. I mean, K-State's got a billionaire booster in Paul Edgerly, who used to be a minority owner of the Celtics until very recently. Like, these are the types of guys, like, I think a lot of other Big 12 schools could tap into, but you got to have somebody that knows how to do it. And that's where Travis Goff, KU athletic director, deserves a lot of credit here to secure this. I think he's been really aggressive and very effective as an AD since he came into to Lawrence. First, let's talk about how they're going to use the money. Okay, you say, John, that's great. What's the money going to do? I assume everyone thinks like, oh, it'll just pay a bunch of players, right? Well, I mean, not totally. They're going to finish the next phase of the stadium renovation with $75 million of it, which that is, it's got to be a huge lift off of everybody's shoulders that you can finalize that. And look, even if you're a hater, you got to admit what they've done so far looks pretty good, and they definitely needed it. I mean, that stadium was an eyesore for sure. So they got a big chunk of that done. They're going to push through on the next phase now. And then there was no real specifics on where the 225, the rest of it would go, but just the most impactful aspects that it could be used was a quote I saw, future unknowns in college athletics. Look, guys, it'll help with revenue sharing. college football season is here, guys, and that means we all need to find good deals on tickets. All right. And the best place to do that is SeatGeek. I have to give a huge shout out to SeatGeek, the sponsor of today's video. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are over 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek. So obviously, college football is covered. But if you're a music guy like me, it's perfect for concerts. I'm buying a ton of concert tickets this fall. And I tell you what, I have my eye on those Holy War tickets for BYU and Utah coming up as well. And man, all you got to do is open up the app. It's perfect. You can go check what's going on here, find the green dots in the seat. That means they're good deals. Red dots, maybe not so much, but SeatGeek will help you find the best deals on seats depending on where it is that you are trying to sit. They're each rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you guys know I'm here for you. I've got a code for you. Code Kurtz gets you $20 off your tickets. Again, that's code Kurtz for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. $20 off your first purchase with promo code Kurtz. Make sure you just click the link in the description to download the app and have that code on hand and ready to go. Guys, I'm here to help you out. I've got your back. Hit up my friends at SeatGeek. The bottom line here for Kansas is like this just takes a lot of stress and pressure off of the entire athletic department and gives you more flexibility. Whereas if you are like, I continue to reference this, but Jamie Pollard has been the most vocal AD about the actual reality of the situation, which I think there are a lot of ADs across the conference that are in basically the same type of position that he is, but they're looking around like, man, where are we coming up with $20 million and then more? It's going to grow every year, but where are we going to do that every single year? And it might take university subsidies. It might take extra student fees, or we're going to be Northern Iowa. Like, if we want to keep competing like this, we've got to pay that money. How are we going to do it? So Jamie Pollard, the AD, by the way, at an athletic department that has been very successful in this NIL era, the last like 3 years where it's really been the true Wild West NIL era, Iowa State's been very successful. Second weekends of the NCAA tournament, winning Big 12 championships in basketball, football, getting to the Big 12 championship game, best season in school history. Like they've had a lot of success, but they are feeling that financial stress. And at Kansas now, this is going to, you alleviate a lot of that. I think it's also a place where it was probably important to alleviate some of that stress because, look, Kansas donors, whoever they're tapping into, they've been funding a stadium and they've been funding an elite basketball program. Neither of those obviously are cheap. And then now all of a sudden you're asking me more money for football because this football program suddenly has more life and a chance. Donor fatigue could become something. Well, now David Booth is taking care of a lot of that. And, we'll see the whole fair market value thing and what the College Sports Commission will be able to actually enforce there could dictate how valuable some of this money is and what other donors could do if you have everything at the university level and rev share taken care of. But this is where I say flexibility. You can be very adaptable to whatever that ruling is going to look like. However the new landscape shakes out, it helps a hell of a lot when and I saw, I believe Goff said it's more like a deferred thing. It's not like they're getting a $300 million lump sum. But when you've got a bunch of that money coming in every single year to help out, you just have so much more flexibility. And maybe you don't have to do things like, look, I mean, K-State and Iowa State are taking a payday to go play that game in Ireland, right? And losing a home game. And that sucks for the fans and the local economy and all that stuff. And your chances, by the way, of winning the game if you're K-State, if you're playing it in Ireland versus your own home stadium. So you might not have to do as many things like that to be picking up the money that everybody's scrapping around and trying to get right now. So that I think is the real advantage here for Kansas. I know a lot of people will also take this toward, okay, well, what does it mean for, Big Ten SEC trying to get Power 2? I'm sure it helps as far as like table stakes for like being in that game, giving yourself a chance. But I don't think this is enough on its own. But for Kansas, they had to get the stadium taken care of. And then you got to keep that basketball program up. You need the football program to get better. All of this will help that. So they've got to follow through with the results. I will say, great to have Cyclone Larry back on Twitter. Best tweet of the week was Cyclone Larry, who quote tweeted the $300 million announcement and said, man, think of how many AJ stores they can buy with that. Let that sink in for a moment. That was pretty funny. But you got to spend wisely. You got to make it work. It's no guarantee that it will. But to me, the analogy here is you have completed the table stakes. You will be at the table in big time college athletics, and not even necessarily from like a Power 2 standpoint, but just competing at the highest level, competing for playoff spots, competing for national championships in basketball. If you wanted to do that, You need the money to rev share every single year. Kansas has that taken care of now for the foreseeable future. So that's huge, man. That's huge. Like I said with Travis Goff, I mean, this guy came in and hired Lance Leipold almost immediately when he got in. He's been able to keep him, get him paid. He got the stadium done. Now he has this big, massive donation. Now, we'll see what happens with basketball. Maybe he's going to have a tricky situation on his hands, depending on what happens with Bill Self's future, his health, if the program continues to sputter a little bit. But I don't think any of that's his fault right now. I mean, he's kept Bill Self around, so he's done an excellent job, man. And to me, this is like a warning shot to the rest of the Big 12. Okay, Kansas is here. Kansas is ready to compete. Again, not a guarantee that they're going to be a school that like runs the Big 12, but they're putting their best foot forward. They're trying to elevate themselves as much as they can in a do or die moment in college athletics. What are the rest of you going to do? What are the rest of you going to do? We know that Texas Tech has stepped up and put its best foot forward. We know BYU seemingly has done that. We know Kansas has done that. What about the rest of you? Will you match this? I mean, will you be an AD that's aggressive enough to tap into your donors like this to try and get them to donate? It doesn't have to be 300 million, but can you get some 8-figure donations out of people on a consistent, regular basis? What's that going to look like? Do you, as an athletic director, sense the gravity of this moment and the need to tap into those donors as much as you possibly can? And then do you have the skill to be a fundraiser? That's definitely a skill. And it's going to be incredibly important. So now let's see what happens across the rest of the league, because look, I'm not in tune with the donors across the league enough to know every single little thing, but I know enough to know that, hey, like K-State's not a school that people think of as being this loaded up with money. It's an ag school, man. People don't if you don't have the medical school, law school, like you think of those schools as being the places that get the super wealthy alums. But as I said, even K-State, man, K-State's got a multi-billionaire, right? So how well can you tap into those sources to get money and give at a time like this when you're going to absolutely desperately need it? So Kansas has helped set the standard, along with obviously Texas Tech, in terms of pure money, pure spending, which, again, say what you will about it, like it or not, but that's what it's going to take. It's what it's going to take in college athletics these days. Competition tends to breed competition, bring out the best in everybody. We'll see.